spirit. This is my third story I read by John Wayne, Communale. We have a thing going on. Hope his gal don't mind. One week. I had one more week of a job that I've spent the last 15 years of my life working, and then everything was going to change. It wasn't a hard decision for me to switch jobs despite my tenure, and I was excited to start this new part of my life. Among the many positive changes my new job would bring, perhaps the best one was that I wouldn't have to get up at 3 a.m. anymore. After this week, I could finally join the ranks of my friends who treated that ungodly hour as a bedtime rather than the time I start my day. Yep, it was going to be glorious, and all I had to do was make it through one more week. When my alarm went off Monday, signaling the first of the last days, I jumped out of bed with more of a spring in my step than usual. I was one step closer to being free from the persecuting bonds of my old job, and I couldn't help feeling good about getting the day started. I strolled to the bathroom, stood in front of the mirror naked, and prepared to begin my morning routine. I put my face close to the mirror, as per my custom, and stared myself down. I am a bad motherfucker, I said to my reflection. I am a bad motherfucker. And I was, too. You see, the thing about affirmations like that so early in the morning is there's no one around to tell you different. It's a really great confidence booster. Anyway, I opened up the mirrored medicine cabinet I was currently staring into to retrieve my toothbrush and found a most unwelcome sight. On the back wall of the cabinet, just above my toothbrush and toothpaste, was a big, fat, nasty, Texas-style cockroach. Now, I'm not one of those people who get all freaked out by roaches. Sure, they're unpleasant, but I don't turn into some kind of giant pussy when one pops up. No more of a giant pussy than usual, anyway. For that first moment, we became aware of each other's existence. We both froze. As I started to slowly edge my way over to grab a handful of toilet paper with which to dispatch my unwanted guest, he too also moved. It was only an inch or so at first, but once it sensed my intention, it darted across the back of the cabinet. I snagged a few sheets of toilet paper and opened the other side of the cabinet, hoping to cut it off at the pass, but the wily bastard was too fast and led me only with a glimpse of its hindquarters disappearing into the impossibly thin gap between the wall and the cabinet. I stayed on the ready for a few seconds, just in case it made the mistake of coming back out to taunt me, but alas, it did not. Resigned that the roach was the victor of this standoff, I reluctantly brushed my teeth and went on with my day. The next morning at 3 a.m., I had all but forgotten about the unwanted inhabitant in my bathroom cabinet and was instead focused on being one day closer to not having to get up this early ever again. I looked in the mirror and gave myself the affirmation of badassery and opened the cabinet. This time I jumped a little. The roach was there again, perched just above my toothbrush, mocking me. It looked like the thing had gotten bigger and uglier since the day before. I made a stutter step to the right, but the beast countered left. I shuffled back left and he went right. It was a standoff. Not wanting to waste time with grabbing an implement of death, I instead chose to lunge forward and thwart my foe barehanded. My palm smacked hard against the inside of the cabinet wall, but when I pulled it back, I found it void of roach guts. My enemy had escaped me. I once again accepted defeat and carried on with my day, wondering if I'd only imagined it in my not quite conscious state. I hadn't. The next 2 mornings were a repeat of the last. It was like this roach had memorized my routine and made it its mission to torment me. We danced the warrior's dance with each other as I made several attempts to bring him down once and for all, but to no avail. I shook off defeat, trying my best not to think about what this creature might be doing to my toothbrush as I slept. I imagined him laughing maniacally while rubbing his tiny cockroach balls across the bristles to further add insult to injury. But all that was about to end. When I woke up at the crack of 3 on Friday, I was more awake than I'd ever been at that awful hour for 2 reasons. First, it was the last day of my job, and thus the final time I would face the way too early dawn. And second, it was the day I was going to kill the roach in my bathroom cabinet. I stepped lightly into the bathroom so as not to make him aware of my presence. I forewent taking a leak and giving myself my morning pep talk to instead quietly wrap my hand in toilet paper to prevent my bare hand from having to come into contact with the death slime I was about to invoke. I gently held the bottom of the cabinet between my thumb and finger while my teepee-covered hand assumed the perfect positioning with which to deliver the death blow. I counted to 3 in my head, threw open the cabinet, and lunged forward to strike. My toilet tissue-covered fist stopped just short of the open door as I realized my adversary was nowhere to be seen. I stood still and stayed on high alert, scanning the medicine cabinet just in case he was anticipating my attack, and was hidden among the vitamin bottles and deodorant, waiting to strike once my guard was down. I took a good look in the cabinet over the next minute or so, but I found no sign of a sneak attack in the making. It was gone. The roach was gone, and I had won. The day was already going to be a great one, and this victory made it that much more badass. I pulled my toothbrush from the cabinet, along with my toothpaste, closed the door, and congratulated my reflection in the mirror for once again truly being a bad motherfucker. I smiled at myself, winked, and looked down to squeeze the toothpaste and get this day started. My smile quickly vanished, and my warrior spirit was crushed by what I saw. Out from the sealed tube of toothpaste and onto my toothbrush came the roach, along with a smattering of crest. He danced and wiggled in the minty goo, reveling in his M. Night Shyamalan-esque twist-ending victory. Electric green toothpaste covered most of his face, but I knew he was smiling behind his mask of cavity-fighting paste. I hung my head. It was hard to accept defeat on that day, but a true warrior must learn the value of the lesson learned from a formidable enemy. Today was the roach's day, and he'd earned it, but still, my warrior spirit lives on. Have your day, roach, but enjoy it.